the. I like most of the time to be singing. Na 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 na. When you dream, I sing the bar. Na 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 na. Melody, G-A-P-A. I like singing. I sing the bar. Dreams when I am. Na 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 na. Melody, happy. I like singing. I sing the bar. Dreams when I am.
I should be loving, I should be loving this and that. I should be loving, oh, I should be loving all this crap. I should be loving the internet, but I'm in love with a mixtape cassette. I listen to it in my sleep. It's hard, it's deep, and I heard it when I woke up too. It's cool, it's true. Your mixtape is fire. Your mixtape is fire. Come on, rewind it, let it go. Let's watch it manifesting gold and feel the rainbow flowing through the hole in your heart. When you push play, I fly away. When I hear that sound, I get down. When you push play, I fly away. be loving, oh, I should be loving all this crap. I should be loving the internet, but I'm in love with a mixtape cassette. I can't relate to things that's going on. I got my own world in my head that's full of songs. There's lots of shit floating around on the web, but I'll play this tape cassette until the day that I am dead. Your mixtape is fire. Your mixtape is fire. Come on, let it go. Let's watch it manifesting gold and feel the rainbow flowing through the hole in your heart. When you push play, I fly away. When I hear that sound, I get down. When you push play, I fly away. When I hear that sound, I get down. I can tell by the way you move that you like to groove, dancing all night long to the break of dawn, finding true romance. All your dreams will come true when I give this mixtape to you. I think we all have some things we regret. The times we didn't love, the people we met, all those good moments that we always forget. Make sure to save them on a mixtape cassette. Come on now. When you push play, I fly away. When I hear that sound, I get down. When you push play, I fly away. When I hear that sound, I get down. But I'm in love with some
Akira. He's got clout.
This is from Friedrich Nietzsche. Now, of course, you probably know that he was the philosopher who announced the death of God. What he meant by that was that the fundamental metaphysics that underlie Western culture had lost their foundation. And that the consequence of that would be the disintegration of the idea of value itself, especially of value hierarchies. He thought of the inevitable consequence of that, or one of the inevitable consequences of that, a dramatic move towards the doctrine of radical equality. See, because if value itself is destroyed, the value distinction between things, so that not one thing is not any better than another, then there's no reason for hierarchies of virtue or of value. And so the equality doctrine is a logical outcome. So here's what he wrote about that.
Behold, this is the hole of the tarantula. But do you want to see the tarantula itself? Here hangs its web. Touch it so that it trembles. There it comes willingly. Welcome, tarantula. Your triangle and symbol sits black on your back. And I also know what sits in your soul. Revenge sits in your soul. Wherever you bite, black scabs grow. Your poison makes the soul whirl with revenge. Thus I speak to you in a parable. You who make souls whirl. You preachers of equality. To me you are tarantulas and secretly vengeful. But I shall bring your secrets to light. Therefore I laugh in your faces. It's my laughter of the heights. Therefore I tear at your webs, that your rage may lure you out of your lie holes, and your revenge may leap out from behind your word. Justice. For that man be delivered from revenge. That is for me the bridge to the highest hope. The tarantulas, of course, would have it otherwise. What justice means to us is precisely that the world be filled with the storms of our revenge. Thus they speak to each other. We shall wreak vengeance and abuse on all whose equals we are not. Thus do the tarantula hearts vow. And will to equality shall henceforth be the name for virtue. And against all that has power, we want to raise our clamor. You preachers of equality. The tyrannomania of impotence clamors thus out of you for equality. Your most secret ambitions to be tyrants thus shroud themselves in words of virtue. Aggrieved conceit, repressed envy, perhaps the conceit and envy of your fathers, erupt from you as a flame and as the frenzy of revenge. What was silent in the Father speaks in the Son. And I often found the Son the unveiled secret of the Father. They are like enthusiasts, but it is not the heart that fires them, but revenge. And when they become elegant and cold, it is not the spirit, but envy that makes them elegant and cold. Their jealousy leads them even on the paths of thinkers, and this is the sign of their jealousy. They always go too far, till their weariness must in the end lie down to sleep in the snow. Tarantulas. 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 Out of every one of their complaints sounds revenge. In their praise there is always a sting, and to be a judge seems bliss to them. But thus I counsel you, my friends, mistrust all in whom the impulse to punish is powerful. They are people of a low sort and stock, the hangman and the bloodhound. 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 Look out of their faces. Mistrust all who talk much of their justice. Verily, their souls lack more than honey, and when they call themselves the good and the just, do not forget that they would be Pharisees, if only they had power. My friends, I do not want to be mixed up and confused with others. Some preach my doctrine of life and are at the same time preachers of equality and tarantulas. Although they are sitting in their holes, these poisonous spiders, with their backs turned on life, they speak giver of life, but only because they wish to hurt. To hurt those who now have power. For among those, the preaching of death is still most at home. If it were otherwise, the tarantulas would teach otherwise. They themselves were once the foremost slanderers of the world, and burners, the heretics.
I do not wish to be mixed up and confused with these preachers of equality.
What up? Is Trovo really that good for that stuff somehow? Is it just because it's smaller still, maybe? I was looking at it today. It was like the top viewer, the guy with the most, sorry, the top streamer, the guy with the most viewers had like 300 viewers or something. Like, so it's a pretty small platform. They only have like 1,000 viewers or something on there. Okay, that's higher than it seemed. When I was looking though, like if you just go by trending, and like hot, this is like the top streamers right now, the most viewers. Or 416. Hey, somehow this person's new and they have like the most maybe they're coming from another platform, maybe they're coming from YouTube or something. All their viewers are coming from there. Yeah, like 286, 281, 202, 153. A lot. It is a lot smaller of a platform. It's interesting. The stream on here now feels like you're kind of getting in on the beginning of something, I guess.
Eso es algo muy importante que luego muchos no usan. Entonces, si tienes algún streamer favorito, dile, oye, ¿sabías que puedes hacer cargar emotes personalizados para tu canal?
People do this on fucking Trovo too. There's a game called I'm Only Sleeping. Like, there's a game on Steam called I'm Only Sleeping, and people use it for a sleeping category. To just like sleep on stream. So weird.
In a certain type
it could be, but I think I've done a pretty good job at fostering a community that like pushes back when they need to. Like I've had like there have been some pretty big traumas even recently where like my community pushes.
Change of pace here. I'll be back in 1 second.
Do I have anything else today? I feel like
Left-leaning political live streamers Vosh and Xander stream to talk with him about some of those criticisms. Vosh also released
like my audience isn't super transparent. Like black stuff.
No, this didn't. You didn't.
Trying to catch one. Whoever called in called in.
Sometimes it's
explicitly bad. Come to the.
You for once.
Oh, well, what's up, buddy?
I don't wait for August's YouTube content. I just August is his editor. I don't wait for August to put out his YouTube content. I just now that he's streaming on YouTube more all the time, he's doing a lot more conversations lately. It's easy to just catch them when he's live and just go back into the stream. This is when whoever called in was calling in.
Hello.
Hi.
I feel like you always call me, so I wanted to call you for once.
Oh. Well, what's up, buddy?
Zaba.
Hi, fellow transphobe.
You know what? I need your help. I feel like maybe I got my blinders on. All right. I want to believe that the individual is not stupid.
Abba got like attacked by Hassan yesterday or like the other day for like being a transphobe or something, like because he put out a video about the whole transports thing. Abba's pretty cool.
Come to the wrong place, my friend. Okay.
But I'm hoping you can bridge the gap. I want you to be as charitable as possible. And if you were to make that other side of the argument, maybe you can help me explain to me like how, because maybe I'm missing it. You know what I'm saying? So I always like to hear it from a different perspective.
Oh, okay. This is a charitable interpretation of quote unquote the other side, not Hassan. Okay. Hassan is too stupid to understand any of these things. Okay. So do we have that clear? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So here's the issue, okay? The issue is that people on the left are traumatized by both explicitly bad faith actors on the right and dog whistlely bad faith actors on the right. The thing is that there's like a million different issues that you could talk about, but like if you focus on a few all the time, people start to associate those issues with a particular point of view. So for instance, there's nothing like, let's say that like I want to talk to you about like black stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to talk about how like gang culture, drugs, and how rap music, I think, leads to a lot of black problems. Now, all three of those topics are legitimate discussions, but if I bring this up over and over again, you're probably going to get a certain view of me, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so what happens is when that interaction happens and it's iterated over social media, real life, politicians, over and over and over again, what happens in the future is once we've moved past that, you get a well-meaning guy that comes up and he's like, I really want to talk about, like, I think that a lot of the stuff, sexism, homophobia that gets perpetuated in rap music, I think that actually boils down into bad things with like black youth. As soon as somebody hears that, everybody's like, what the fuck? It's a racist fuck. This guy's a racist motherfucker that he's about to say some crazy shit, race field, and you automatically, people are putting you in the worst box possible. And I think that that's happened a lot with trans issues, to where for the past like 5 to 10 years, transphobic people.
You scored first percentile at politeness. Yeah. No, Damon, actually that totally tracks. Like why my mom didn't like you growing up, but why like she like grew to like you more as you got older because you learned how to like keep it under wraps. Because you're just like a very like, you try and push against everything basically, and like you were very much like that when you were a teenager, right? You like obviously you kept that under wraps as you get older, but like when you were a teenager, Jesus. Well, my mom didn't like most of my friends. Like she's a mom who had most of my friends in her house all the time. She didn't like Ray. She didn't like you. She liked Greg for a little bit, but then even he started pissing her off. Pretty much all my friends pissed off my mom at one point. But like, it was just like you had this really weird thing as a teen. That makes perfect sense though. When you say that, 99th percentile of volatility, first percentile of politeness. Like just knowing you all throughout high school, you were just like, yeah, you just like. Fucking, it's like you intentionally rub people the wrong way just to like test them or something. Like it's funny being friends with you. I never would stop being friends with you because it was always fucking entertaining as shit. What test did you do? Where did you do this test? Oh, you took the Jordan Peterson's personality quiz. Okay, cool. Weeploop or Weploop or Weeple Oop or Weeplu up. What's up? How's your night going? How's neoliberalism mind? How's it going? Neoliberalism sees competition as the defining characteristic of human relationships. It redefines citizens as consumers. An ideology and policy model that emphasizes the value of free market competition. Many neoliberalism policies enhance the workings of free market capitalism, but also attempt to place limits on government spending, government regulation, and public ownership. Okay. Key takeaways. Policies of neoliberalism typically support fiscal austerity, deregulation, free trade, privatization, and a reduction in government spending. Neoliberalism is often associated with the economic policies of Margaret Thatcher in the United Kingdom and Ronald Reagan in the United States. There are many criticisms of neoliberalism, including its tendency to endanger democracy, workers' rights, and sovereign nations' right to self-determination. Yeah, no, like politeness is just like a barrier to truth, essentially. So you're just like one of the most honest people I've ever known. If you want it to come off more, more like a compliment than an insult. So I guess I wasn't trying to sound insulting or anything before. Like you, I also kind of say it how it is. I had a hard time with confrontation a lot growing up. I don't know if it had to do with being raised with like my mom and 3 sisters and shit, and like you had 2 brothers and like a dad who was actually around and shit. Like maybe that just isn't all it takes to like learn how to be somewhat confrontational at a young age. I had to really teach myself how to be like confrontational throughout my 20s, even though like I would constantly feel moments of like I feel like a big reason I had a hard time dealing with confrontation is because there were so many things in my mind all the time that would make me want to confront people about things, but I wouldn't know how to. I'd have no practice at dealing with confrontational like situations, even from like a young age, just basic confrontation through siblings and stuff. Like I feel like that's why we got along a lot. We're both pretty similarly impolite and a little more volatile, but I just didn't have the practical upbringing to help me express that a little bit. I don't know if that how accurate that would be. If we could have some like expert psychotherapists like psychoanalyze both of us and then hear my explanation there and be like, okay, yeah, he was probably pretty accurate. I have no idea. Who knows? So neoliberalism is like, how is it still neo when it's like 50 years old? All I gotta say about that. It's getting a little old to call it neoliberalism. It's like, it's kind of just old, like liberalism now. Your mama probably scored was the masculine scale personality. Oh, for sure. A little more disagreeable than most women. That's why she never really had a lot of friends. Like she had a hard time maintaining female friends. She doesn't deal with all that catty bullshit. I saw my mom go through lots of, yeah, exactly. Disagreeable. I saw my mom go through lots of female friends. And at first I thought it was like her fault, but then I started to respect my mom for it because I realized that all her fucking friends were just cunts. Yeah, if she was more agreeable, she would have put up with my dad's shit and stayed with him for longer. They wouldn't have divorced when I was 6. Then I would have been raised by that fucking cuck. More.
Found.
Who knows who I'd be. You know, part of me, like, for a long time was always like, oh, my dad was never in the picture. I fucking lacked having a father. But then I look at, like, who I could have been if that guy was actually the one who raised me. More, like, my dad. I don't know, I feel like I'd be such a fucking pleb. With collectivism on the rise, a group of liberal philosophers, economists, and journalists met in Paris at the Walter Lippmann Colloquium in 1938 to discuss the future prospect of liberalism. Although the participants could not agree on a comprehensive program that is universal. No knife kill for you. Alright. some universal agreement that a new neoliberal project able to resist the tendency towards ever more state control without falling into back into the dogma of complete laissez-faire was necessary.
Right. Keep up.
Philosophers, economists, and journalists. Ugh. I wonder it's such a fucking bad take. They just thought amongst those three factions they could come up with like how to fix the world. Economists should definitely be in the group of people deciding how to fix the world. I don't know about fucking, what was it? Liberal philosophers and journalists. They can have some part in it, but they shouldn't be like one of the three bodies that decide like this world order that you're gonna like completely believe in. How old are you, by the way? I'm just curious.
See ya.
Not trying to ask that as like a gotcha or to be insulting or anything. I'm just like to know people's kind of age when I'm talking about this kind of stuff. 29? Okay. When did you get into politics? Were you raised like being into politics? Wow, 18 HP, she fucked up. Oh, motherfucker. Have you always believed, like, followed neoliberalism, or is that a more recent thing? Fuck's sakes. Love of these spawns. There we go.
One down.
You merely adopted politics, but I was born in the politics, molded by it. Always been left-leaning, more recently found out you're the neolib. I was always pretty left-leaning as well, like I was raised by a pretty hippie mom. And like, I always considered myself pretty hippie-leaning on a lot of issues. It was only the last few years I got a little more like, no, I wouldn't even say red pilled. I say red pilled as like a joke, and then like it kind of just pulled me more towards the center. What's up? Turbo XP or Turbo XP? What's up? Do I vote left or right? Well, I'm Canadian first off, so we have more than two parties to vote for here. And I've voted somewhat left in the past. Voted a little more like right centrist recently. Just I wouldn't even call it right centrist. Like 20 years ago, it would have been a pretty liberal opinion, but nowadays, I guess like the old ball has shifted in North America. Owned a condominium wheel. What? Neoliberalism is a bad thing because everyone always used it as a political swear word, but then I looked into it and realized it's good. Well, is it really that good though? It's got some pretty fair criticisms. I don't like to just like find one political ideology and be like, this is the one. I'm pretty sure that there's like, we haven't found the correct political ideology yet. Like the perfect one doesn't exist yet. And like whatever exists so far, there's probably good parts of each one that we can like adopt. Like kind of the same way I go about spirituality and religion. Like the Wikipedia page was written by losers with the neoliberal Wikipedia page. I didn't go to the Wikipedia page. I was just like reading through a bunch of different, like I just Googled it and I was reading all the different blurbs from a bunch of different websites that were like written in support of it. and then that one was just a couple
Eyes
criticisms.
down. Stay down.
Oh. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Oh, you motherfucker. You played all weird over here. Hey, Jen. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're just chatting a little bit. I don't know how much politics I'll actually chat right now. Because I'm going to play some comp soon, but you know. I'm always down to chat with whoever's actually here. Everybody. Damn it, I dinked him through the fucking wall there. Ah! Ah! Right now we were just discussing neoliberalism a little bit. I haven't really looked into it too much. I was just looking up like basic assessments of it, trying to figure out what its main
5 kills
positives
remaining.
and negatives are, I guess. We're basic about it.
Dominating.
But fuck. Cypher's fucking good. I'm also sitting all fucking weird right now. Cypher's silver 3. Nova is flat. Reyna is iron. Someone's playing together in here.
Eyes down.
And it's definitely not iron. What the fuck?
Night night.
One kill
Damn,
remaining.
this fucking guy, he has really good spray control too. He just actually got me. I thought he was gonna fuck that up. He's choking, he's at 39 and he's trying to get that last kill. Died. Watching kill feed to see if Cypher dies again. I have another few seconds to play. Cypher's about to get this last kill. He's probably gonna get out fucking me. Cypher just died again. And Sova's on a fucking ace, killing the Cypher. Oh, and Sova's gonna... No, Sova's not gonna win, but Chamber might win.
Yikes.
Fuck you, Sova. Hey, Sova, that's the guy who said he was plat. Nice. Again. Fucking... Ah! Oh, that was the Cypher. If you got me there, he would have won. Oh, and Chamber's
1
actually gonna
minute
win
remaining.
because I just stole it. Damn, that feels bad. I stole that win from Cypher there. I could have just let him kill me just to give him the win so Chamber couldn't get it, but I was warming up.
People will harp on because you're never really going to come out and be like, I hate trans people. You're not going to say that. What you're going to say is that, like, I think that there are a lot of trans people that aren't really trans. They detransition, you know, there's a lot of fake stuff. I think that the kids are being harmed. You've got instances where like LGBT people are grooming it, right? You're always going to focus on like these types of issues, which on their own, there might be some merit, but taken collectively and then presented by a person kind of makes your mind do this defensive thing where you instantly start to assume that they are that prior transphobe in this case, or racist or homophobic person or sexist or whatever. You start to group them with the people in the past that would only ever make these arguments because they didn't want to go, you know, like the full 9 yards or whatever. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot.
Destiny's been getting a lot of like the psychology of people lately because of like the way he's been banned. He's like trying to figure out exactly what makes people have these fucked up perceptions. Interesting. You should talk with not so erudite a little more, or other more trained psychologists who aren't in school still.
Sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But the issue is that, like, I think this is a trauma response. It really is. And trauma responses are, by definition, irrational. We should eliminate them. If somebody wants to come up and talk to me, and I hear them ask a question, like, if a boomer comes up to me and they're like,
When everybody was sleeping, and I was playing with nobody watching, I fucking hit gold. I feel so good.
Don't you think, like, if you play a lot of violent video games, don't you think that could cause like some violent? I'm not gonna like roll my eyes and assume that like, oh god, here it's Jack Thompson, like time for this. I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. I'm not gonna be instantaneously PTSD'd every time somebody brings it up, but people act like that. They get like super PTSD'd over it. I don't think there's an excuse for like non-trans people to get PTSD over it because you're not trans, what the fuck? But I do think that I'll give a lot more leeway to the affected groups because you can only defend your existence for so long before you're like, Jesus fuck, like I don't want to be on trial every single day for who I am, you know?
Yeah, it can be exhausting to have to try to defend that if you feel like a lot of it's bad faith or if you feel like it's the same negative rhetoric that you hear all the time.
Wait, this is why they said the Reina was iron, because they have 44 deaths somehow. How do you die double the amount of time? How do you even find enough people to die to in that amount of time? In the same 9 minutes that I played that deathmatch, they died double the amount of time somehow. That is terrible. Okay, I see. See why they said that now.
And sometimes for people who are bad actors, I can understand that frustration. And to be fair, I feel like on my end, I've definitely felt like this topic has come up a lot over the last few years. But it's also, yeah. Maybe you have this as well. I don't know if it's like this for you, but I feel like for me, I don't take holistic approaches to most issues. Meaning like I don't really cover Asian folks or like issues that happen within the Asian community, for example, right? But let's say if some specific negative thing happened, it was in the zeitgeist, I probably would cover it briefly. And I would have a lot of people who might come to me afterwards and be like, you only talk about us when it's negative or some shit like that.
Sure, because it's like a current
I feel
event
like most commentaries around negative things or disagreeing opinion, you're rarely going to make a video and be like, well, this is why I agree with trans folks 110%, because nobody's going to watch anything like that, nor is it something you're really going to sit there and think about. Am I crazy to say that? Is that weird?
Because most people aren't trying to just generate echo chambers either, so... Well, I mean, like most intellectual people like Abba. So Destiny will understand that, but like he's going to say a lot of people do want to do that, because why wouldn't they do that? Because it just feeds their echo chambers to say like, oh, I agree. Maybe it won't. Maybe he'll say something else.
No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. We just have to be mindful of what it looks like sometimes, I guess. Sure. The biggest concern that I have, the thing that I look for is I'm always trying to be mindful of like what type of audience am I getting. So like when I look at my subreddit, because there are a couple people that hear me and they're like, holy shit, Destiny finally hates trans people. He's base now. There are some people that think that. But when these people show up like in my subreddit and they start making comments, or when they show up like in my Twitter mentions and they start making comments, they get overwhelmingly shit on by community, by my community. So I think that's a good thing. If I started to go through my YouTube comments or my subreddit and I started to see like really upvoted comments about like, oh, like this girl's a man or stuff like that, like really like shitty transphobic comments, and they started to get upvotes, well, now I'd be worried that like, okay, well, hold on. I'm giving so much attention to this side. I think that people that watch me think I believe this thing, and they're starting to feel emboldened by the arguments that I'm making. And I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not here to empower transphobes or to make trans people feel shitty or to give ammunition to that side of the...
I've totally felt what he's feeling right now when I have like a certain stream title or like I'm talking about a certain issue and some fucking crazy alt-writer comes in here and starts spewing some crazy fucking racist or like fucking crazy actual transphobic shit. Like, yeah, they just get perma-banned. Like, that shit is not what I'm trying to endorse at all, and I don't want to have that kind of following whatsoever, because like some people would. Some people just take the viewer number and be like, hey, it's another viewer, whatever. Fucking no way. It's ugh.
The argument, if that makes sense.
Right. So do you think as a result you avoid certain topics as to not feel that, even though you know what's being said is like probably incorrect or just...
I try not to avoid...
Party with a rate of 8. Nice. Thanks, Jen.
They only have a Sage.
No, I'll never avoid something, but I'll try to caveat a lot depending on what we're talking.
Just playing some comp and listening to Destiny talk to Abba about creating communities that you know,
I think they're rotating from their spawn
don't
already. I'm gonna try to
accidentally attract crazy fucking people.
Sage is boosted up for a while.
Talking about, because we talked about a lot.
Can you get out?
So like I've said this a million times. I hope it helps. I guess. I mean, like my audience isn't super transphobic yet, so I guess maybe. But like I'm gonna.
Oh, Destiny's very responsible, yeah, for sure.
Like something I'll say like a million times is like these are like
basically the reason you're able to do like a talk show on Twitch is because of Destiny. Destiny started the whole like politics sphere on Twitch. The only reason there's a just chatting section and stuff is because of people. Well, it's because of Destiny. He started all that shit.
One's
what
on
the
site.
fuck? Good trade.
That Viper.
Guys on site.
Yeah, he's on
Yes,
A.
sir.
You should have BD yourself. No, I missed.
So yeah, definitely check out Destiny.
And she
He's
counter
awesome.
strafed and was really, really good.
Online trans activists. These are not the normal trans person. These are terminally online
Right now he's
crazy.
talking about like if you don't say like you make a trans title like I had the other day. Sorry, a title on your stream like I had the other day where you're like, I don't want trans women in sports, in women's sports, right? And like pretty like basic centrist view, like, but then like you'll have some crazy alt-righters come into your chat and say some actual racist or actual misogynistic or actual transphobic shit, and like just actual hateful shit, right? And not the kind of people you want to try and attract, so you just gotta permaban those kind of people and keep them out of your community. But it's hard because you don't, it makes it so you don't even want to talk about certain issues, because then like you might accidentally attract the wrong kind of people.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Nice.
thanks for the
Hopefully.
follows, guys, and I appreciate Jen's raid. All of you coming in with her, because there's lots of real hate out there, and it's like, it sucks, obviously, right? Like when all like I have a daughter. I don't want, if she gets into sports, I don't want her. She's pretty young right now. Who knows what she's gonna like? She's already pretty athletic, and I don't want her to get fucking ousted from sports because a bunch of trans women needed some inclusion, like, and then there's no chance for any cis women to ever like achieve records again. But just because I want to talk about that stuff doesn't mean that I'm like a full fucking transphobe. But then I'll actually attract transphobes in chat by saying anything like that. It's the fickle line to walk on. Hey, Care Bear, Harry Bear Kip, and Sastion's
Cover me,
back.
cover me.
Sastion's back. How's it going? Is that Bastion? That's right. My bad. I almost said it wrong again.
Phantom on ground.
You're
I'm trolling,
you're not
bro.
Satan.
I'm actually trolling. Viper's in A, man.
Reloading.
That's a Spectre. I threw.
Don't worry, you got better guns.
I got this. I got Spectre. Oh, fuck. Well, they have a gun now too. They have whatever gun they picked up in Road.
Heaven.
One to your left.
Watch tower.
Viper's behind.
Right side.
I had that.
Last one is arcade.
Last guy Vandal.
He's on
Oh, no,
site.
on site.
Nice. There's
Nice.
a bandle. There's a bandle. There's a bandle.
Perfect.
This squad, bro.
Wait, he had it?
Right there.
Oh man, nice. Huge. Fucking right.
Free upgrades. Upgrades.
see that 4K?
Good bonus here.
This is comp. This is not unrated.
Back next,
I was
don't
warming
buy
up.
too
I'm
much.
playing comp competitive right
Yes,
now. I
sir.
just hit gold last night, and I am top fragging.
You guys have like a sheriff or something?
Kip.
I have Ion.
No, just
Can you get that?
Bastion wants to game
I'll
with
buy
me.
it. I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
I'm all the way over here. Hold on. I'm coming my
Oh,
way.
who wouldn't? I'm
Oh!
I'm
Oh, did you
carrying
come
in
to me?
Valorant
Hey,
lately.
drop it, drop
I've
it,
been,
drop it.
I actually just
No,
hit
I'm coming, I'm
gold
coming, I'm
for the
coming.
first time ever.
It's worth it. I have my
And I'd
gun.
never played Counter-Strike before. I'm kind of newer to games like this. Like, I've been playing shooters for a couple years on PC, but only a couple years. I did not grow up with shooters on PC. A lot for me to learn.
I think
I
Jess
just
All the
kinda
work
think
that the
one.
women's liberation movement has put in.
I'm not sure, though.
Why would they take jumps backward by letting men compete? I know.
Yeah,
Like,
rotate.
I gotta
well,
kill
a lot
A.
of,
I
a
got
lot
the
of
smokers
traditional
on it.
feminists actually hate
I'm gonna push up on it.
this shit,
Yeah.
and that's where the word turf
Let you know what I
comes
find.
from. You have like, what does turf actually mean? It's like trans people who
Nice.
kill,
One
nice
more.
kill.
radical feminists are the last two. Are
Jet was a,
RF,
B2.
RF is radical. It's like trans exclusionary radical feminist. But it's literally just traditional feminists who don't want to fucking see women's rights be
Nice.
Omen was AFK.
eroded for the sake of fucking men
Stay alive. Stay alive.
who couldn't make it as men.
Spike down B.
Close to tower, tower, tower.
Okay.
Last one spawn. Last one's their spawn. Their spawn.
Why'd you say tower? The tower.
30 seconds left.
What the fuck's going on?
I don't know. He's spawned. I don't know who said tower though. I already dealt with tower. Tower was clear. Don't say bad callouts. Yeah, we got this.
Canteen.
Fuck yeah, canteen. This is often when I'm best at games too. Like the reason a lot of the reason I stream on Twitch is just because like my place always used to be like the hangout spot. Like growing up, my place was the hangout spot in like when I had a bunch of university friends and I lived downtown.
Does that look laggy to anyone else?
I was like, me and my buddy.
I think, you know what, I hear you, Breach. I think I was the one who called Tower because Breach was dashing into Tower.
Like, our place was like
I mean, I said a little late. You did kill her immediately, but
like,
that's what I was trying to call.
Hangout spot. I'm just used to having everyone.
That was the last time I said Tower.
And I used to play a lot of StarCraft back then. We'd have like friends chilling, sitting around. Everyone's talking philosophy and politics, and I'd be like sitting there playing StarCraft in the middle of it all. When Twitch first happened, I really wanted to just get into it, but I
have money.
Life happened. I had a couple kids with, and my life just went really terribly for a while. I got fucked over in a lot of different ways, and couldn't really afford my own computer for a long time. So finally be on Twitch feels nice. Any night when I have like a few viewers like this, we're chatting and chilling and I'm gaming. Feels great.
One flanking game,
I've always wanted to do.
120. Oh, she's healing off me. Nice.
Didn't even touch me. I got a clear tower. Oh, tower's clear. Yeah, we got jet.
It was one A main. Probably coming from B main.
Last player standing.
He knew.
B main and spawn.
He thought that. Then that means they thought we were going.
You got eight bullets. 8 bullets.
Thank you.
One enemy remaining.
Oh,
nice shot.
I'm so fucking cracked right now. What the fuck?
Let's go. You're on fire, eh? Let's fucking go.
Yeah, this feels good. My first game of the day.
Hey, keep it up. Keep it up.
I hit gold last night, so I'm in like a great mood. I've never hit gold before.
That's fire. Big news, buddy. Nice job. Alright, I'm gonna start upping, being cringe.
I have a bowl packed right here. I'm wondering if I should take it or if it's gonna fuck with me. But I've smoked it. I've been smoking all day, so I don't think it would. I just don't want to interrupt anything. If I die first, I'll take it. Kind of waiting until I have that.
I love that.
He flashes.
I don't want to be late to any of these rounds. My audio still down? Oh my god, it is. It's still so low from when I was warming up.
Welcome to my world.
Maybe I should play with my audio lower more often.
Sage just walled. A main, B main.
Reloading.
I think it distracts you less. I don't know. It's less.
Well, one broke my trap on the other side.
Sound can be a little
120 on that.
intense.
There's two tower.
It took the zip line, bro.
I got this. Oh no, there's one B. There's one A main. There's one A main. A main.
Well, they have an op. They have an op. They have
A
an
main
op here.
chamber on your left. Oh fuck yeah. Gonna be tough. Soak time. You thought I woke late?
Watch out, there's an op.
Yeah, I woke up around like 5 and then I went out. Got some drinks and
Last player standing.
Bro, nice try.
Introduce him to Jeremy. Who's this Jeremy? Hold on. I gotta get this.
When Reyna gets started, it's hard to stop.
I have money.
I'd like to avoid that, please.
Do I need to request? No, I don't.
I'm feeling generous. Who needs to buy? Need equipment. I'm feeling generous. Who needs a buy? Need equipment. Thanks.
Let's make some chaos.